They say there are two things that you should never talk about in polite society: faith and politics. And I'm about to talk about both anyway. Welcome to the Unmentionables. This is what happens when someone dares to talk about things everyone else avoids. The topic your pastor tiptoes around, the conversation your friend politely dodges, the questions someone in the room will silently cringe at. Faith, politics, morality, eternity. Charlie Kirk started the conversation. Rest in peace, Charlie. We're taking it from here. Silence isn't kindness, it's negligence. And if truth matters, we don't look away. And since today is St. Patrick's Day, we will talk about a man who risked everything to proclaim the truth. St. Patrick, who fearlessly shared the gospel even when it was dangerous. That's why this podcast exists. Charlie Kirk showed courage in asking questions most people wouldn't. St. Patrick did the same, crossing dangerous territories to boldly speak the truth. And I'm here to continue that. Not for fame, not for clicks, but to explore truth. Silence doesn't protect anyone. Avoiding difficult conversations leaves us unprepared, misinformed, and disengaged. That's why we're here, asking the questions no one else will. Charlie Kirk said, "When people stop talking, really bad stuff starts. When marriages stop talking, divorce happens. When civilization stops talking, civil war ensues. When you stop having a conversation with someone you disagree with, it becomes a lot easier to want to commit violence against that group." What we as a culture have to get back to is being able to have a reasonable disagreement where violence is not an option. That is exactly why this conversation matters. If we stop talking, everything else unravels. And that's why this channel exists, to prevent. This is about shouting louder than anyone else. It's about asking questions, listening, and examining ideas honestly. Fighting criticism with curiosity. That's our approach. We pursue truth even when it's uncomfortable. Consider this. A community avoids discussing moral responsibility in politics. Silence spreads, assumptions take hold, and that harder question goes unanswered. That's why these conversations matters. They stop the problems before they spiral. On this day, we remember St. Patrick, a man who risked everything to proclaim the gospel. In his own words, "I, Patrick, a sinner, an unlearned, a resident in Ireland, declare myself to be a bishop. Most assuredly, I believe what I am, I have received from God, and so I live among barbarians, a stranger, an exile from the love of God. He is a witness that this is so. Not that I wish my mouth to utter anything hard and harsh, but I am forced by the zeal of God and the truth of Christ, which has wrung it from me out of love for my neighbors and sons, for whom I've gave up my country and my parents and my life to the point of death. If it be worthy, I live for my God, to teach the heathens, even though some may despise me." His courage and commitment reminds us why difficult conversations matter about faith, morality, and truth. Silence isn't safety. Speaking out, even when it's uncomfortable, is how change happens. I don't have all the answers. Nobody does. But I'm asking this questions is the first step towards discovering truth. Think about the conversations you avoid. Why do you avoid them? What would make What would it mean to face them honestly? Charlie Kirk showed us courage by asking what most wouldn't. We're here to continue that conversation. The unmentionables exist to search for truth even when it's uncomfortable. Thank you for listening and welcome to the conversation. Next time, we'll be tackling a big question. What is a Christian's obligation to Israel? And why does it matter today? Make sure you don't miss it.